Hey everyone. So today's topic will be averages. Now that's something that most of you know. Essentially, if you have a bunch of numbers, you add them together and you divide by the total number of numbers there are. Let's look at a quick example. So say you have 9, 12, 23, 15, and 1, right? So you want to find the average. All you do is average is equal to 9 plus 12 plus 23 plus 15 plus 1. And there are a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. So divide that by 5. 9 plus 12 is 21, plus 23 is 44, plus 1 is 45, plus 15 is 60. Divide that by 5, and your average is 12. Easy, right? Pretty much. So the actual equation that we'll use for this is very simple. It's average is equal to sum of all the numbers that we have over total. Right? Or, as I like to actually keep it, sum over number. It's essentially the same thing. I just like to use the hashtag instead. It's my preference. So that's pretty simple, but there are slightly more difficult examples, especially on the SHSAT, where you'll have situations where say you have 5 people, they give a certain average, they add a new person or they remove a new person, and you have to find the new average. So let's look at a couple examples of those. Example set 1. A group of friends can eat an average of 12 slices of pizza a day. John decides to join the group for a day and eats 19 slices. What is the new average, right? So we use the equation that we've been using all this time. So A is equal to sum over number. The average is given in this problem. So the average is 12 and the number is 6, right? So 12 is equal to, I'll just say sum of 6, just to differentiate, over 6. So the sum of the 6 friends is 6 times 12 is 72, right? Now, it says John eats 19 slices. If he were to eat 19 slices, the sum of the 7 friends will now be 72 plus 19. And that gives you a new total of 91. And that's it. So now that you have the new sum, you find the new average. Average is equal to sum over number. Sum is 91, the new number is 7, and 91 divided by 7 gives you 13. And that's your answer. Great. Now let's look at a couple more examples. So this time around, we're actually going to be given the original average and the new average, and we have to find what the score or the number is for the new person, right? So a group of 9 students, group of 9 students receive an average of 85. John takes the exam and the average drops to an 82, right? So average of 9 students is 85, and with John added in, there are 10 people now, and the average is 82, right? So all you're going to do is you're going to take the new sum, the sum of 10, minus the old sum, which is sum of 9, and subtract them. And that should give you your final answer. Now, all you have to do is to find the sum. It's average times the number, right? I'm not going to have to really show the equation. So the sum of 10 students will be the average, which is now 82, times total number of students, which is 10, minus 85 times the original 9 students. 82 times 10 will give you 820, and 85 times 9 gives you 765. And if you subtract correctly, your answer should be 55. That's it. On to the next question. 5 players on the Golden State Warriors has a team scoring average of 25. Okay, so you have 5. So the average of 5 is 25. Kevin Durant gets sick and cannot play anymore. The average increases to 30. So he was playing really poorly. So if one person is removed, it's going to be 4 people with an average of 30. So again, this time around, it's always going to be the bigger sum, right? The larger number of players. So sum 5 minus sum 4. Again, it's average times the total number. So it's 25 times 5 minus 30 times 4. So 25 times 5 gives you 125. 30 times 4 is 120. So KD was scoring 5 points in a game. Pretty bad day. And so the last example will show that, gets a little more complicated. And this is pretty much as difficult as these questions will get. We'll be looking at a couple of variables now, right? And the idea for this question is, it's pretty much the same concept as we've been doing for each of these questions. Nothing's really changed. The structure is pretty much the same. So we have the variables A, B, C, D, and E have an average of 14. The variables A, B, and C have an average of 11. What is the sum of D and E, right? So average is the sum of all the variables over the total number of variables. So average is equal to, you have an average of 14. That's equal to, we don't have numbers, so we'll just say A plus B plus C plus D plus E, right? Over a total of 5. Now, we never want to keep it in terms of fractions. That's always something that you want to get rid of. You always want to multiply out the denominator. So multiply both sides by 5. 14 times 5 gives you 70. And 70 is equal to A plus B plus C plus D plus E. Right? That's the first part. Now, we have the average of A, B, and C given as 11, right? So 11 is equal to A plus B plus C over a total of 3 variables, which means that A plus B plus C will equal 11 times 3, or 33. So we have all of the information that we need. We have the sum of A, B, C, D, and E is 70, and the sum of A, B, and C as 33, right? Now, how do you find D plus E? That's what they're asking. Well, if you look at the two equations, they both have A, they both have B, they both have C, but the first one only has D and E, which means that if you subtract the two numbers, you'll get D plus E, right? So D plus E is equal to 70 minus 33, or 37. And that's it.